A notable confluence of astrological alignments and numerological shadows cast a significant influence over the global stage in June 2025. A challenging period emerges, vividly characterized by widespread conflict and societal upheaval. This period stands as more than mere political turbulence. The energies of new beginnings, willpower, and even spiritual awakening, instead of fostering growth and harmony, appear tragically corrupted and weaponized, driven by factors such as the new moon in Auriga, the charioteer catalyst for instability, the actions of Donald Trump, the reckless charioteer, the Mars-Ketu conjunction, an astrological indicator for global tensions, a politicized spiritual awakening for the modern truth seeker, and the influence of the month's numerology 15, the devil's impact. It's fascinating to note that in 2025, there is no new moon in Gemini. Instead, it's taking place in the astronomical constellation of Auriga, the charioteer. The confluence of potent astrological and numerological energies in June 2025 collectively shapes a challenging global landscape, marked by escalating conflict and societal disruption. Yet this very intensity also illuminates your potential for transformative change, your awakening, and a conscious pivot towards a more harmonious future. Part 1. The new moon in Auriga, a catalyst for instability. At the heart of this unfolding scenario lies the new moon in Auriga, precisely on June 25, 2025. Traditionally, a new moon signifies fresh starts, nascent energies, and the planting of seeds for future growth. Auriga, the charioteer, symbolizes guidance, control, and the steady hand at the helm. The new moon in Auriga is a potent catalyst for awakening from instability and purification through violence, representing the clash of the misguided and chaotic pursuit of power against those seeking purification and new beginnings. The charioteer, instead of expertly steering his course, loses control, driven by destructive impulses and a reckless, unbridled autonomy. Everyone impacted by the chaotic charioteer has a choice: avoidance or awakening. A celestial warning emerges. The journey is veering wildly off course, with potentially significant consequences for the world and yourself. Part 2. Donald Trump, the reckless charioteer. This unsettling symbolism finds its direct human embodiment in the figure of Donald Trump, cast as the reckless charioteer. His misperceived ingenuity, often touted by his supporters as a strength, is becoming a clear and evident dangerous loss of mental faculty, capable of unleashing profound chaos. His characteristic willpower, viewed without bias, transforms into an unbridled will to dominate, devoid of checks or balances. This unchained drive manifests in erratic and profoundly destabilizing decision-making, a relentless pursuit of authoritarian control, and ultimately, the spectacular collapse of grand projects or even entire political structures, all brought down by the weight of one man's insatiable hubris. The new moon in Auriga, therefore, acts as a cosmic mirror, reflecting and amplifying the potential for disruptive leadership on a global scale. Part 3. Mars-Ketu conjunction, an astrological indicator for global tensions. Adding a critical layer to this unfolding narrative is a significant astrological indicator for global tensions. The Mars-Ketu conjunction in Leo, spanning from June 7th to July 28th, 2025. This specific alignment is not merely an abstract celestial event. It carries a notable historical echo, having been linked to the outbreak of World War I. Mars, the planet of aggression, conflict, and raw energy, conjoins with Ketu, the shadowy, headless south node of the moon, which signifies detachment, past karma, and sometimes sudden, unexpected cuts or destructions. In the fiery sign of Leo, associated with leadership, ego, and dominion, this conjunction becomes a potent cocktail for potential global conflagration. When combined with Auriga's potential for misguided leadership, This conjunction unleashes a cascade of disruptive events. National leaders, particularly those swayed by the aforementioned reckless charioteer archetype, like Benjamin Netanyahu and Iran responding to him, will engage in aggressive foreign policy, inadvertently escalating regional skirmishes into widespread international conflict, like World War III. Unforeseen escalations of seemingly contained disputes spiral out of control, pulling hesitant nations into the fray. Furthermore, this period marks the dismantling of crucial alliances and the erosion of long-standing diplomatic norms, stripping away the very mechanisms designed to prevent such widespread hostility. The world, devoid of its diplomatic safety nets, could become a tinderbox awaiting the spark. Part 4. The politicized spiritual awakening for the modern truth seeker. Perhaps the most thought-provoking aspect of this Mars-Ketu influence is the need for the politicalization of spiritual awakenings. Conflict itself becomes the brutal crucible through which our shattered world is forced to find a new, albeit challenging, form of purity. Numerological symbolism, such as the 33 vertebra and its association with Christ-like resurrection, which Auriga the constellation represents, pause for a collective disruption for purification by means of violence. For example, removing with deadly force, like the French of 1789 did, those in the highest American positions of power in 2025. Mars-Ketu and the Auriga new moon signify a profound ideological struggle underpinning the need for physical violence, as that is obviously now the only way to purification. You cannot walk the path of spiritual awakening in 2025 without being politically swayed and motivated. A truly awakened spiritual path isn't a solitary journey, but one deeply interwoven with the interconnectedness of the world. Ignoring the political landscape means overlooking the very real suffering shaped by societal structures, directly impacting individual spiritual progress. Genuine spiritual awakening often sparks acts of compassion, like the Buddha's awakening, and a drive for spiritual justice. When confronted with systemic injustices, an awakened person cannot help but feel compelled to act, expressing political engagement as an extension of their spiritual values. This includes developing an awareness of power dynamics, seeing beyond illusions to understand how political systems can either foster or hinder collective spiritual well-being, and choosing actions aligned with higher spiritual principles. This path also calls for ethical responsibility, as spiritual living inherently demands speaking out against human rights abuses, environmental destruction, or corruption. These times challenge the notion of spiritual people remaining aloof, because that disengagement is a form of spiritual bypassing, where uncomfortable realities are sidestepped for internal focus. Ultimately, being present in the here and now in 2025 means acknowledging and responding to the complex political forces at play. In essence, an authentic spiritual awakening inherently leads to political awareness and motivation, as the two realms are intricately linked in the pursuit of a more just, compassionate, and truly awakened world. Therefore, now is not the time for inaction. Disruption is the only way to renewal, which requires a blood sacrifice for true purification. Let it not be yours. Part 5. Numerology 15. The Devil's Impact. The overarching tension is further amplified by the numerological impact of 15, associated with the Devil tarot card. This is not just a number, it is a symbolic weight impacting every aspect of this outlook. The number 15 signifies entrapment in corruption and power struggles, driven by ego and material gain. In a political context, this translates into a systemic societal breakdown, where leaders and institutions are shackled by their own avarice and hunger for control, unable to break free from self-serving patterns. Moreover, the impact of the Devil card highlights collective delusion and societal manipulation. This ultimately results in the rise of oppressive systems and inevitably the acceleration towards global conflict. The numerology of 15 serves as a constant, potent reminder that the upcoming challenges are not merely accidental, but rooted in a profound moral and ethical decay, where the pursuit of power eclipses all considerations of humanity and collective well-being. Conclusion: the misdirection of powerful energies. The potential for new beginnings, vibrant willpower, and even profound spiritual activation is not absent, but it is corrupted by the evils present which must be fought with evil in return. The result is a highly volatile global landscape, where the very offices that could uplift humanity are harnessed for its disruption, giving the American people and the global world at large, like you and I, no other option but to protest against what is happening in the highest levels, or we lose our spiritual opportunity to awaken. June 2025 marks a turning point, not towards a hopeful dawn, but towards a challenging period defined by significant conflict, societal disintegration, and the potent realization that the charioteer has truly lost all control. While the world watches, you are now armed with the celestial and numerological indicators that you can use to point yourself towards a future that ensures harmony, innovation, and joyful self-creation for you. Join the channel's membership for access to the exclusive monthly horoscope for even more tips and advice. In the meantime, may I suggest you trust and believe that it is okay to be you, the most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be, because you are not a story that can be told twice, and there will never again be a stage for you to perform, but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.